Can we get someone outside of Green Bay of signing in free agency, please? Can we actually do that to help this team, please? Hello, folks. Today I'll be talking about the Packers free agency so far in this offseason. So I'm going to break it down of what moves the Packers made in this free agency of the offseason, really. So we're going to start off by going chronological order of who they made previously, like before the season of signing and like till now of signing. So we're going to start off by going like at number one I have is they re-signed Kenny Clark. So Kenny Clark is one of the best nose tackles in the league, and also he's very young, so that's pretty good. His deal was 4 years and $7 million for an extension, so that was pretty good because like the Packers badly needed him because without him, that defensive line still wouldn't be good. Even though it's not that good, it would be very bad without Kenny Clark, because Kenny Clark is carrying the Packers D line and helping make those stops of rush and being like very good. And he keeps getting double teamed a lot. So he's pretty good, and I love like the Packers re-signed him because it was a main priority before free agency started. So that's pretty good. And then you got David Bakhtiari of re-signing, the best left tackle in the game right now. I would say ever, like in the NFL history, is the best left tackle. I missed him a lot when he went down in December, like right before playoffs happened. He went right down, and he's not going to be back like the first few weeks of next season. He's not going to start or be in the next couple games for it because of that injury. But he's still going to be still good, and he deserved that money, which he became the highest paid O lineman until free agency happened, basically. So what he got of his deal was 4 years and 92 million. He got over at least 20 million per year was what he was trying to get, and he got that before this past season started. The Packers did it right before the season started just to re-sign him and get that extension right done before and done. The next person the Packers signed, which surprised me because I thought he was gonna go for big money after he said he wanted a lot of money, and Packers re-signed Aaron Jones. Now, if Aaron Jones, his deal was 4 years and 48 million. I think that's a good deal until the third and fourth year because I feel like it's mainly a 2 year deal because he's getting so much money in that third and fourth year contract. I feel like the Packers are just gonna cut him easily there just to get like at least 2 years out of him and then just like go with him and cut him because he doesn't like give much cap hit at all. He gives about 4.3 million, I think it was. So he only gives that. But with Aaron Jones, with this re-signing, it gives the Packers maintaining that great running back group they have without Jamal Williams, but they still got that great group, and they still got AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones. So with that like duo, it's like thunder and lightning in a running back group, which is pretty good. And a storm is gonna come very soon. So NFL teams don't want to face them really, but that's pretty good for us. And Matt LaFleur is utilizing him, like he's utilizing him and AJ Dillon as queens in a chess game, basically, by moving them everywhere. Like Aaron Jones can run the ball and catch the ball, so he could be like a wide receiver, kind of like not like a regular wide receiver. He could be like he can go into the motion of it like a wide receiver, like on plays where they'll have like AJ Dillon run it or like fake it AJ and then throw it to Jones. Like Aaron Jones is pretty good on the air ground, so he can like dominate on the air ground for running back and then have Dillon just run the ball like a bulldozer. So I love what the Packers did of just re-signing him, of keeping him, even though like NFL teams mostly don't pay running backs like big contracts like with Jones. I think he's worth it until the third and fourth year. The first like those 2 years of those contract, I think it's gonna be worth it of just paying him that money, and he's gonna be still have a great impact with us still. So I love this move of Packers re-signing him. Then the Packers re-signed Kevin King. Now Kevin King, he did not have a great year of the 2020 season. His best year was when in 2018 and 2019. Especially those years, it was just 2020. He fell down like on a hill. Like he was not good. He's very good when he's not like 10 yards off a guy. Like if you've seen that NFC Championship game, he was clearly off, and he keeps getting injured a lot. When he's healthy and he's not off 10 yards of that, he's dang good. Now, my thinking of this move was not to like, it was just a band-aid basically of just let him stay for another year. He's not going to be long-term for the Packers probably, unless he shows like he's the next like Jaire Alexander, like what we have. But with King, I feel like he's giving me like a veteran presence. Like when the Packers brought Tramon Williams in like a year ago or 2 years ago, like for that matter, like just to get some veteran presence in that secondary. I feel like this is the move that Kevin King wants to like for him, like just to give it to the rookies. Like the Packers are gonna draft some rookies. Like they could draft Asante Samuel in the draft because this upcoming draft is a loaded cornerback. So this is pretty good, and I feel like Kevin King's gonna be like a teacher, just to help out the rookies and get them better with that. But Kevin King, he just needs to stay healthy and not be 10 yards off because he gets killed every time when he's off 10 yards. Because you can go back in the NFC Championship and look at those plays where he allowed those 2 touchdowns and the one to, I believe it was Chris Godwin in midfield to set him up for a field goal in that game. But like Kevin King's gotta like stay healthy and not play 10 yards off, and he can be fine and solid for us then. So, and then another move the Packers re-signed was Mercedes Lewis. Now, Mercedes Lewis is one of the best blocking tight ends in the league, and he's pretty good in the run game for us, so that helps them out a lot in the run game. And he's still a good catcher. Like, if you go back and watch the Packers Saints game where he makes that nice jump catch and that touchdown, he's still got momentum of like getting in there for that. But for this particular thing about Mercedes Lewis is he was a former first round pick, and this is the only first round pick that Rodgers has thrown to for a touchdown. He's only thrown to one first round pick in his whole career of weapons, and Mercedes Lewis happens to be that guy. But I love Mercedes Lewis. I love Big Dog Mercedes. Like, he's been a phenomenal leader in the locker room. He's been a positive impact for this team, and I love bringing him back. So hopefully he will do well once again for the Packers, but I love him a lot. And another move the Packers did of re-signing was tender Big Bob Tonyan, Robert Tonyan, the guy who missed the Pro Bowl but should have made it. He had a great year. He had like over 10 touchdowns. He was like a red zone target for Aaron Rodgers besides Davante Adams. He was like a red zone guy. He was a phenomenal like player at the position all year. Like, he's roommates with George Kittle, and he trained with him like in the off season. Like, you saw like plays like Robert Tonyan made that looked like George Kittle plays. Like, Robert Tonyan is the George Kittle of the Packers right now making, because he's that offensive like presence for tight end for the Packers. Like, because the Packers have the same like offensive scheme as the 49ers do. It's just like Robert Tonyan is basically the mashing of George Kittle, even though George Kittle's a better tight end than Robert Tonyan. I didn't know that. But Robert Tonyan is a very good red zone weapon for the Packers, and he's going to help us more by just giving him targets just to get more touchdowns for us. So I love this move for the Packers doing. And the last move the Packers made in free agency was re-signing Allen Lazard. Now, Allen Lazard was a phenomenal, like, reliable player for the Packers of making plays when he was thrown to and needed. Like, he was phenomenal in the Saints. Like, if you want to go back and look at his plays from this year, one of the games that most stands out to me is the Saints game where he made phenomenal catches. Like, when he goes so deep and he made it, that touchdowns. That was, like, one of my favorite games of watching him. He was phenomenal in other games too. Rams playoff game, he was phenomenal, like making like those reliable catches too. I love Packers re-sign him just to get some more wide receiver depth, because they really have nobody else at wide receiver 3, even though they're most likely going to address wide receiver position in the draft. I still like Allen Lazard because he still gives them another like hunch of like a weapon. So with adding another wide receiver in the draft, it gives the Packers more presence really. Like, they have Devontae. MVS, if he can catch the dang ball really, he's 50-50. If he can catch the ball, he's good. Then there's Allen Lazard, as I mentioned. Like, he can make like those like reliable catches, like those catches you needed most in the game. Like when the game's on the line, he can make those catches for us. I trust like Lazard in those games, like of those plays when it's need to be. So just to get some wide receiver depth like position, because they badly need it, even though they're going to address it in this upcoming draft. I know the Packers are going to get a wide receiver, even if it's not day 1, day 2, probably day 3 of this, because Gutekunst like just to get wide receivers. Like he just drafts them late in the draft, so he just does that. But I love them bringing back Allen Lazard. But just to recap of the moves the Packers made in free agency were re-signing Kenny Clark, re-signing David Bakhtiari, re-signing Aaron Jones, re-signing Kevin King, Mercedes Big Dog Lewis, Robert Big Bob Tonyan, and Allen Lazard. So I like all those moves that the Packers did. I would have loved them to bring back Corey Linsley. I know the Packers couldn't because he got a lot of money. He became the highest paid center in the National Football League, and I know the Packers couldn't afford him at all to sign him because he got so much money because the Packers don't have that much money. Before the pandemic happened, they had a little money and they spent that on Kenny Clark, who carries that defensive line for us. And David Bakhtiari is a more valuable player than Corey Linsley because David Bakhtiari is a phenomenal player. But most of these contracts the Packers did was about three of them were tendered by the Packers of re-signing. But most of these contracts in them had incentives, like bonuses, like this is what the Packers did so they wouldn't get their cap space hurt, because that guaranteed money is the only thing that's really going to hurt the Packers of what David Bakhtiari got or Kenny Clark got of the guarantee money. That's the only thing. But where they converted like money from like roster bonus into like game bonuses for like for those contracts, really, that's what like with Russ Ball, like the guy who like does the contracts for the Packers, like players, he does a way of figuring out how to keep with the cap space and try to not let the cap space go down and hurt us, and have like some way to like allow like those players to still get the money, but if they get it the right way. So this is like what the Packers do, having a lot of incentives in those players' contracts. But I know Corey Linsley, he didn't want those incentives, even though I know he wanted to stay here as a Packer. And I badly wanted that to happen, but it didn't. And I will miss that. He didn't want those incentives. And I know Corey wanted to get paid, and he deserved to get paid, and he got that. So I will miss him for that, but I just hope the Packers like get like another like weapons for Aaron Rodgers of either a wide receiver, an offensive tackle like right tackle, or center. I would also like that. And then defense, I would love to address the defensive line and the cornerback. I would love the Packers like, because we just need weapons is the thing. We need more weapons, like more like toys, as I would say, for a coach or for a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, either such. But I would love that to happen, and I would love, like, I kept seeing like rumors the Packers might be signing Cordell Patterson, who I would like that to happen because he's a kick returner and could be like that Swervin Irvin Tyler Irvin kid what the Packers did in the return game, and he also did jet sweeps for Aaron Rodgers, and he was a weapon in that offense. So the Packers get him. I would love that, and he's a big, tall guy, which I would like to see the Packers get. But I just want to see the Packers succeed in this draft and get better in the next season, please, because we're running out of time with Aaron Rodgers. But let me know what you guys think about it. My thoughts of what the Packers did in this offseason. What would you want them to address in this upcoming draft? Would you like to see like offensive line, defensive line, cornerback, linebackers, another wide receiver, like a number one wide receiver? Who would you like to see the Packers get? And also, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button, please. I would appreciate that. Let's hope the Packers can just get it going in this upcoming season and have another great year and do better in the postseason, please. I just want to have a great year with the Packers once again. I love making the playoffs. It's a phenomenal time. And unlike the Bears, who they're about to be the worst team in the NFL, I love that. Especially we're in a division where we're just going to own the Minnesota Vikings, Chicago Bears, and the Detroit Lions because they don't have the quarterbacks and they don't have a team really. So we'll be just owning the North. We got to own the NFC. We got to own that. So if we own that, then we have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl. So I would love the Packers just to bring home the Lombardi to Aaron Rodgers for his second ring. Please, I would love that. But as always, go Pack, go.